Hello internet users, and welcome to Gem Collecting, where we take a journey through some weird and obscure games and see all of the fun and madness they have to offer. This is something I've been wanting to do for quite some time now, and today we're finally going to kick it off with an interesting little game called Confess My Love. The concept for this game is as follows. You play as Willie. It's after school, and his crush Liza is by herself in the classroom. Willie wants to declare his feelings for her, but he only has a few minutes before she leaves the room. The scenario is as basic as that, all taking place in a single room. Yet the game manages to have a total of 20 different endings to find. Just a heads up to you viewers, I'm going to be covering everything that's in this game, so if at any point you'd like to try it out for yourself, I'll leave a link to the game in the description. It's completely free, so check it out if it seems like the kind of thing you're into. Now that that's out of the way, let's dive headfirst into the magic that is awkward teen love. Although there is only a classroom to explore, this is an adventure game. By that, I mean that the gameplay consists of you examining your surroundings, searching for items and clues that will in some way allow you to make progress. Though, what makes Confess My Love a little different from most games like this is that you only have a short amount of time to look around. In addition to that, you can end the game by just talking to Liza. Well, the whole goal of the game is to confess our love, so let's just go right up to her and do it. I have been liked you long time. Nailed it. Oh, she didn't hear me apparently. End 2, inaudibility. Well, that didn't go over so well. After that, the game brings you back to the title screen, where the characters are now just silhouettes for some reason. Weird. Well, alright then, let's just hit start and try again. What the? There's now another person in the room. Okay. This character's name is Julie. Willie takes notice of her and remarks that her being here is an obstacle to trying to speak with Liza. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do about her at this point, as she refuses to leave. But for some reason, I have the option to borrow a cup from her? I don't know why I'd need that, but if the game gives me the option to take it, clearly it is somehow going to be essential to accomplishing my end goal. One of the first things you may notice about this game is its perspective. It has this isometric view, which, along with the rest of the visuals, looks really nice. My only issue with it though is that the movement is tile-based, so it feels a little weird to move around at first. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I think that for a game like this where you need to examine every nook and cranny, free 3D movement would have been a much better option. The second thing you may have noticed is the big number on the screen. This represents how much time you have left. Once the number reaches 5, Liza will go home for the day. By the way, it definitely isn't made clear right away, but paying attention to this number is crucial to getting all of the endings. For example, the ending I just got occurred because I talked to Liza while the clock was still at 1, and I chose to confess my love instead of hesitating. Speaking to her with a different number on the screen causes her to have different reactions to what is more or less the same question. And this is where things start to get a little tedious. The game has you continuously playing through the same scene over and over. As you see more endings, slight changes begin to occur within the room, like we saw with the arrival of Julie. But there isn't really a whole lot you can do at the start. For the first while of the game, you're pretty much just waiting around for the clock to display a certain number, so that you can view one of the endings that is available at that particular time. Just take a look at the conditions for getting endings 1 through 9, and you'll see exactly what I mean. And unfortunately, almost half of them are essentially just slight variations of the same thing. You either confess or hesitate, and then Liza makes some excuse or just outright rejects you. When the game has you repeating the same things over and over and gives you the same reward each time, it's kind of hard to stay interested. And yeah, you've probably noticed by now that this game doesn't have a very good translation job. I mean, I can still understand what is being said, so it by no means completely ruins the experience, but all of the text here is in desperate need of some proofreading. I should mention though that in the time since I've originally played this game, the developer has apparently made improvements to the English translation. Another problem that I have with the game is that its own skip function doesn't do what it should. Early on, the game will give you the option of ignoring the opening bits of story that is at the start of each playthrough, or what it calls simplify the initial plot. But even when you do, the game doesn't actually skip all of it. I know that sounds like a really minor complaint, but I find it weird that a feature that is meant to cut out unnecessary repetition only does half of its job. Well, now that I've done all I can do with talking to Liza and being turned down, it's time to go to Plan B. After all, when someone isn't interested in you, there's only one logical thing to do next. Search every object in the room for a way to change their mind. This is a video game after all, so there must be something like that hidden around here somewhere. You just keep working on your homework over there, Liza. I'm just gonna find a way to win your heart by rummaging through everyone's stuff. As it turns out, there's this notebook on one of the desks. It clearly is important since it requires a key to open. The 4 pieces of the key are hidden around the room. However, they won't start appearing until you've seen a certain amount of endings. With every couple of new ones you find, one of the pieces will become possible to discover. The bulletin board in the classroom also keeps track of which endings you've already gotten, which is a little helpful. So with that in mind, let's take a look at all of the other ones that we can possibly see at the moment. Like I mentioned before, endings 1 to 9 aren't all too different. I'm sure from the footage I've been showing, you've gotten the gist of what they're all like, so I'm not going to bother going over the details of each and every one of them. So up next, we're going to be looking at ending number 10. All we need to do for this one is let time run out while Julie is present in the room. Liza finishes her homework and the two of them leave together. For ending number 11, we need to do the same as number 10, except Julie has to first leave. To get rid of her, we need to pick up a cake that's in Willie's desk, and then bribe her with it. Nothing really exciting happens, it's just the same as the previous one, except Julie isn't in the scene. Ending number 12, waste no time at all and just go and talk to Liza right away. For ending number 13, just leave through the door without doing anything else. Simple enough. Ending number 14, get the cake and give it to Liza, selecting the I like you option. She won't accept the cake. Bummer. For ending number 15, we do the same as before, but instead, select the other option. Alright, things seem to be going well. We're now 3/4 of the way through. With this many endings unlocked, all 4 puzzle pieces have appeared in the room. Once they're all put in place, I'm told that I need a code in order to open the notebook. This is where Julie's cup comes into play. After borrowing the cup, you can fill it with water, and then water the plant. Upon doing so, a password will appear. This code is randomized and changes every time you start over, so you're going to have to go through this every time. After using this to finally get that notebook open, a small key is found inside. This key is actually for one of the drawers in the corner of the room. Once unlocked, you open it to find a knife? Okay, what the heck does Willie need a knife for? And this is where I got completely stumped. I thought that just by having the knife, I'd have access to more options when trying to confess to Liza, but that isn't the case. There isn't anything in the room that I need to cut, so it appears that this item is just completely useless. This can't be right though. There's no way after spending so long to get this thing that it would just have no use. I'm gonna have to refer to a walkthrough here. Let's see, okay, so apparently in order to see endings 16 and 17, I'm going to have to gain access to something called the mutated room. According to the walkthrough I was looking at, I need to follow these specific steps in order, and very quickly at the start of a new run. Number 1, get the cake from my desk. Number 2, give the cake to Julie and get her out of the room. And number 3, take Julie's cup. Number 4, pick up jigsaw piece number 2. Number 5, pick up jigsaw piece number 1. Number 6, pick up jigsaw piece number 3. Number 7, water the plant for the code. Number 8, close both of the curtains. Number 9, pick up jigsaw piece number 4. Number 10, get the key from the notebook. Number 11, get the knife from the drawer. Number 12, talk to Liza while the clock says 3. Number 13, select yes and choose to confess your love to her. How in the heck was I expected to figure any of that out without a guide? That is just insane. What do the curtains even have to do with anything? Here I am trying to do something new, and now this video doubles as an episode of hidden content. Smoke and Jade can only wish that they could be as ridiculous as this. Alright, whatever. It's done, I can get some more endings. I don't need to worry about anything else. Wait, what? The room is exactly the same. What gives? Nothing's changed. But I did everything. I did everything right. I did exactly what the walkthrough said! Well, as it turns out, following all of these steps doesn't actually guarantee that the mutated room will appear. What performing this sequence actually does is give you a 1 in 3 chance of the mutated room appearing in your next playthrough. Are you kidding me? Why in the heck would they do that? Not only does it make the game even more tedious than it already is, but it also makes it completely impossible to complete without a walkthrough. There is nothing in the game that tells you you have to do these specific things in this specific order. Even if you somehow manage to stumble across the mutated room by accident, you wouldn't know about the 1 in 3 chance. You'd never be able to retrace your steps to figure out how you got there in the first place. So I tried again and I got it this time. The music's changed and Julie isn't in the room anymore. It's a little eerie, honestly. I guess this is supposed to be the mutated room. It's clearly different, so I must have got it. Oh. Liza turns into a demon. Well, that came out of nowhere. Like I said earlier, there are 2 endings that you need to get in this room. The first one I got was number 17, where she catches you and her face gets uncomfortably close to yours. The other one, number 16, you get by running for the door the instant she starts chasing you. Once you've gotten at least 1 ending from the mutated room, endings 18 and 19 are now possible to unlock. Next we'll cover ending 18. For this one, you have to go get the knife from the drawer again, while Julie is still in the room. Once you unlock the drawer, you'll immediately notice that something's changed. The knife is now covered in blood, and Willie will get vivid flashbacks of the demon Liza. He doesn't understand why, but he now feels that Liza is in serious danger and attempts to tell her to leave. Julie will then butt in, and Willie will eventually just think that he had a bad dream or something. For ending 19, you need to do the same as before, with the only difference being that Julie is out of the room this time. The same scene will play out, but without Julie being there, Liza will start getting mad, yelling at Willie to leave her alone. Then he ends up stabbing her. Yeah, I don't really have an explanation for that, it just kinda happens, and the game fades out. Okay, just one more ending. Clearly after coming this far, surely everything will make sense after seeing the final one, right? For number 20, you need to check the bulletin board by the door, after previously viewing all other 19 endings. Willie will say that he feels like something is wrong, and that he wants to talk to someone. Next, you need to go to Julie and continuously chat with her. The 2 mainly just talk about Willie's hesitation for confessing to Liza. This goes on for a while, but eventually, all of a sudden, the music stops and Julie drops a bombshell. This room is Willie's creation, where he always repeats his failures over and over. Then she says that she'll show him a memory that is sealed away within him. It is then revealed that Willie was hit by a car on his way home from the cake shop, and was actually dead the whole time. His soul was gradually becoming more and more evil, and Julie, who is actually a devil, was waiting for an opportunity to claim his soul. What? You're telling me that after everything I went through, the big twist was one of the most cliché things imaginable? Willie's soul then leaves with Julie, with his last request being that the cake he bought for Liza be given to her in the real world. The last shot is of Liza going back to her desk to find the present left for her. And that was Confess My Love. Honestly, I think this game could have been a lot better. It has some interesting ideas, but the way it executes them makes for an underwhelming experience. The gameplay is too repetitive for its own good. There was plenty of opportunity here to get creative with many of the endings, but they all ended up being so similar that only a couple of them are even memorable. And the fact that the game gives you so little direction doesn't do it any favors. Having a walkthrough to consult when you're stuck should be optional, not mandatory for knowing how to follow strict steps. The method for getting to the mutated room isn't even cryptic, as there aren't even any clues for it. It's just something that you'd never be able to figure out on your own. And the true ending is an incredibly weak payoff. The main reason I kept trying so hard to get through the game is because I wanted to know the truth. I wanted to know why Willie was continuously going through the same scene over and over. I wanted to know why these small changes were happening in the room. I wanted to know why there was a demonic version of Liza and everything got all red and creepy and she tried to kill me. But instead the game gave me, and then it turns out you were dead and this was purgatory all along. An ending like that could have worked if it was more subtle, with hints dropped throughout the game. Everything is just thrown out at you all at once. It doesn't feel clever at all, and it lacks anything to give it its own unique take on the idea. Heck, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of you out there that draw a lot of comparisons to Hello Hello. I really did enjoy playing this game, but there's clearly so much room for improvement here that can't be ignored. My name is Pikasprey, and these were my thoughts. Thanks for watching.